Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Nick Lasorsa with PBA Hall of Famer Randy Peterson. We're at the ABT Fall Nationals 40th anniversary, so our main event this weekend is going to pay $40,000 to some lucky individual. And unfortunately, it won't be Randy, although he'd love it, I'm sure. Wouldn't you?
Yeah. Yeah, I could use an extra $40K.
Yeah.
We call that Lasorsa money.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the small stuff.
Yeah. It's Lasorsa money.
Yeah. What you're going to be watching the next 2 hours probably is going to be our doubles format. And how this works is they qualify 1 in 8 in doubles throughout the week, throughout the qualifying squads. So what you're watching out here, even though everybody's individual up on the board and there's 74 of them, once they're done their 3 games, their scores are added with all the other people that they qualified in doubles with, and that's how they'll get paid. And so there's somebody out there that conceivably could finish first through fifth with 5 different partners. So this is pretty neat. It's a little bit of a unique format, something that we're trying new here in Vegas. Normally in our doubles event, you're just posting scores and 1 in 5 or 1 in 6 cash, depending on what branch you're at. And we normally run them on holiday weekends, so you're not tied in for the whole weekend. You can actually bowl 1 or 2 squads if it's a 3-day event, and if your score holds or you're in that 1 in 5 entry category, you're going to cash. So a lot of flexibility with doubles, but out here when we do have a captive audience, it's a nice little break because it's not that expensive, and they can bowl a lot of different doubles with a lot of different doubles partners. So
what's the most you've ever seen? Partners.
Partners?
One guy, how many partners?
I ran a doubles event on a July 4th weekend a couple years ago in Colorado, and I did almost 700 entries in 3 days. And I had, it was a 40-lane center, and we were packed 40 teams an hour forever. It was a fantastic turnout.
Wow.
And I think I had one bowler cash 13 times with 13 different partners.
So you had a guy, you had a bowler that had 13 different partners.
Correct. That cashed.
Wow.
Because realistically, I had some individuals that if we had 37 squads, they bowled all 37 squads with, or, you could have bowled with the same partner because they didn't cash, they would try again type of thing. But,
right.
Yeah, it was amazing. So this is a little spin-off on that, but I think it's going to be pretty cool because once they're done, I believe they're going to go to like the top 4 doubles teams are going to bowl for other stuff unless that's been changed due to time constraint. But and then what you really want to watch is the PBA Pro Challenger, ABT PBA Pros. You're going to have a professional as a team captain, Randy being one of them, and then you're going to have Wes Malott, Leanne Hulsenberg, and Liz Johnson. And they're actually going to draft the top 12 ABT bowlers that got in this event. And then they'll probably give them a little practice. They'll decide how they're going to line up. And then they're going to bowl 3 games. And then the winning team's going to get $1,000 a man. And for a $40 entry fee, Randy, that's not bad.
Pretty good.
So that's what we got going on tonight.
I need some practice.
I know you do.
Yeah, I mean,
just to get loose, that's all. I mean, you know, the hardest thing with you guys, I get very amazed at you guys because of all the travel you do. You know, that jet lag type of thing. And then, say you get into town and you got to do a pro-am. You're there for X amount of hours. You run back to the hotel or whatever, and then qualifying starts the next day, and you got to be on your game. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I mean, I think like anything else, you kind of get used to it, but there's one thing that you never get used to, and that's jet lag.
Yeah.
I was in Asia about 4 weeks ago. God, what day is it? I think I was there about 3 weeks ago. Anyway, and the jet lag going. I went from Myrtle Beach, North Carolina to Okinawa, Japan. From the time I left my house to the time I got on base, it was 30 hours. And that's including all of the layovers and everything else I had. So, I mean, it was just a brutal trip. And then, it's a good 4 days just to get over that. And then 3 days later, you're turning around, you're coming home again. So,
and then that takes you another couple days to get back to that.
But it's such a great time, and being able to see the world and do stuff like that is it's a privilege, and and I love doing it.
This is going to be the same thing that we had in the first 2 segments. Randy, 3 games, and they're going to skip 10 lanes.
Yeah.
At a pop.
Why do you think they skip so many lanes?
Well, because as you know, over the years, if you're in say like a 32-lane bowling center, sometimes the end of the house is a little bit higher scoring. Maybe the front part of the house is a little bit higher scoring, or you've had a center where they've added on. They have different characteristics. I don't think so much on the synthetic end of it, but when it was wood, there was definitely an advantage-disadvantage type thing. So they figure if you're going to bowl 3 games and you're going to put them in thirds, basically, it gives you about as fair as we can make it.
Right, I'm with you. Still doing some scouting.
Of course.
I need to know handicaps.
Yeah, and they'll have that. That'll sway your opinion if you're close on a couple guys. You don't know which one to take. That might sway your vote. And actually, we should know who the top 12 bowlers are. I mean,
I don't know.
The qualifying's over. So
those results should be up soon, I think.
Yes, correct. And then that'll finalize what you were hoping to pick.
I can start crossing names off my sheet based on who didn't make it.
Yeah.
Oil pattern looks tough. I'm in trouble.
Now your instincts will take over.
It's not my instincts I'm worrying about. It's my ability that's diminished over the years.
Well, that's that old adage, the mind is willing, but the body is not.
Correct.
You know exactly what to do. You know what ball you put in your hand. You know where to go. And now it's a matter of execution.
And I know that on this pattern, you can't miss left or right, and I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
I just feel sorry for the people that I draft.
Ooh, nice split conversion. She just made 3, 6, 7, 10 on lane 54. That was Yvette Atkinson. Good for her. Also, while we have a moment, I don't know if you're aware, but one of our national floor directors is having health issues. Eldon Pierce.
I noticed his name this morning, and he didn't bowl.
Yeah.
Where's he at?
Up in his room. He should be in the hospital.
What's wrong with him?
They think. So anyway, Eldon, if you're listening, we miss you and hope you're doing better.
Yeah, man, get well.
And we'll see you at a future national event, the next one here being Super Bowl weekend, the first weekend of February.
Yeah, so I watched this pattern, and it brings back nightmares of my last couple of years on tour. It's like, all right, make sure you hit your target with the right hand and right speed, or it's an open frame.
Yeah.
tough. Too hard for me.
I know when they first opened the Mohegan Sun in Connecticut.
Yeah.
Did the PBA have an event up there?
I made back-to-back shows there.
Did you?
Tournament of Champions.
Excellent.
Like 04, 05, 05, 06, somewhere in there. And they built some lanes in the arena. I want to say we had 6 lanes.
Something like that.
In the arena. And it was all match play. It was an all match play event. So you win and move on, lose and go home. So, and I think each match was best 4 out of 7.
Wow.
So you can lose your first match, be done.
Yeah.
And I made back-to-back shows there at Mohegan Sun. One year I lost in the title match to Pat Healy.
Okay.
And another time I lost in the semifinal match to Norm Duke by a pin. I needed all 3 in the 10th to tie, and I went double blower 7. And I lost by a stick.
Yeah.
I want to say that Healy won the one year, and I wonder.
Did Duke go on after?
I wonder if Goebel won. I wonder if. I'll look it up.
Okay. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Got a chance to see that when I was up there. Beautiful place. And again, for those of you back home watching, this is game 1 of our 3 games doubles format. And we should have the top 12 ABT bowlers that will be drafted by our 4 pros within a couple minutes, and we'll give you some of those names, and Randy can start getting serious about who he's going to try to get. For those of you that did watch the 2 tournaments this afternoon, morning and afternoon, Randy was right. We were watching Rhino Panganaban from the Twin Cities division.
Steve Jaros beat Duke.
And he won by 31 pins. Lamar Richardson out of Bermuda was second. Sean Ashley from Phoenix was third. Pam Feger out of Dallas fourth. And Sam Santacolas of San Diego fifth. That was in our high 5 event, the first one in the morning. That was at 9 o'clock. And then on our gold event at 11 a.m., Jay Knighting won the second title. Because the first one was yesterday, and that was our senior event. And Jay won that one with Lilia Bang of Longmont, Colorado, finishing second. Well, in our gold event, Jay won again. Leonard Peach out of Portland was second. Adam Waddy from Denver was third. Julie Jacks from Las Vegas was fourth, and Andy Castrance Jr. out of the Bay was fifth. So you see a lot of different names, which is pretty cool. Of course, Jay winning 2 out of the first 3 is pretty awesome. And Jay comes all the way from Idaho. So that's pretty cool. National member, so the only time he really gets to bowl with us is when we're here.
Yeah.
So.
I'm just scanning, looking for scores. Who's Randy Sinicolis?
Sam's son out of San Diego. Also up there, I think Chris Walker. Yeah, Chris has 2 spares and a 3-bagger on 45 and 46. Good player.
Yep. From Salt Lake City.
Jerry Kawaguchi, who won our $100,000 tournament.
Yep.
He's on 46. He's grinding a little bit so far, halfway through match number 1. We did have a few no-shows, I'm surprised. Harold Hill unfortunately made it, but tore his thumb up, and we excuse me, and we had to pull him out in the singles qualifying, and obviously it didn't feel well enough for him to compete in the doubles, and that's a shame. But you're right, Randy. I'm looking along. Other than Randy, like you pointed out, with the front 4, I believe. Excuse me. Other than that, it's a grind.
He had the front 5.
Front 5?
Okay. And then a split, and then a spare in the 7th.
Okay.
Jonathan Farrell's got 9 spare 4-bagger.
Oh. So there's a few. But again, all they do is their scores are added with all the qualifying partners that they have. So it's a total crapshoot as far as us knowing what's actually going on, who's leading.
How did the bowlers qualify for the team event?
It was a side event that they could use their scores during the singles competition.
Gotcha.
Just like the doubles.
So
and
they could pay a
gold.
little extra vig, and then
Correct.
for that squad,
their scores are put in for every event that they paid into. And obviously, only taking the top 12 in all the qualifying squads, you know the scores are going to be high.
Right.
I thought she looked familiar.
What do you know about Nikki Brodigan?
Decent player out of Salt Lake. From the few times I've seen her, she's pretty much a good grinder. You know, which I call good team bowlers. Like when you're, bowling in a league back home, they're not going to give you real big games, but they're not going to give you very low games either. They're pretty much right around their average, which is great, I think. It's good stability for the rest of your players on your team. Andy Wu's got it together after a slow start on lane 60. Goes open, split, strike. Looks like probably a washout and then a 4-bagger. Nice shot.
I'll tell you what, I just wrote another name down, and it's Nikki Brodigan.
Okay.
She's throwing it from out, kind of going out to in, and She's at 220 right now. Can strike out for 240.
Wow. Again, right under Felix Garcia. Spare three-bagger split double. Felix out of Parker, Colorado. And Wes Malott is sneaking over your shoulder, seeing all your draft picks.
Yeah, I just turned my sheet over.
See, he's scouting the whole time.
Wes, you want to sit in and do a little live stream?
Scouts all the time.
Yeah.
You want to do a little live stream there, Wes?
We're at a huge disadvantage here.
Yeah.
What do you got?
Talk to Nick. And you're not seeing my list.
Wes, he's tough.
Nick, what's going on over here with Randy and his list?
I need all the help I can. You don't. You're good. I'm bad.
Yeah, Randy is determined that he will be last among the four of you. So his mindset is, number one, these guys I'm watching that are looking pretty good, did they make the top 12? And if they did, when it's my turn in the draft, who can I get my hands on the quickest?
I've had a couple people tell me who to go after.
Yeah? You got a name?
I don't think he's going to tell you a thing.
What do you got? What do you got?
He's got all kinds of stuff.
It's like this list right over. It's
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, well, that name scratched out. That name scratched out.
Well,
I guess those are gone.
That's because they got 221.40.
Yeah, so he keeps looking
So
at me and goes,
they fit in great with you.
oh, there you go. Yeah, Wes is going, yeah, they both just like you, Randy. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, it was funny because he'd go, hey, look at guy throws a pretty good ball. Shoots 220 out of the gate or whatever.
Yeah.
And then he watches them again, and they're washout, split, this and that. That's the end of him.
Yeah. Randy does that on a house shot.
Oh.
That's pretty hard to do, too.
Yeah.
So,
This is our double side event.
The doubles finalists, correct?
Correct. All these people at one time during some of the qualifying squads have cashed in a block, 1 out of 8. But the cool part is there's a bowler out there that actually could have 7 or 8 other doubles partners. They're all bowling 3 games.
Crossover stuff, right?
Yeah. So they're all bowling 3 games, and then all those different scores with those other people are all added together to determine
So it's not
who's going to win.
Yeah, so
no,
it's
has
not like
nothing to do
somebody
with
on
it.
a pair is
Nope. It
matched
could
up.
be,
They're-
but we don't
right,
know. You know.
Right. So somebody down there on 60 could be bowling with somebody on 31.
Absolutely. Yep.
And 41 and
Sure.
51
Yeah.
and somebody else is scratched off the list.
That list is getting pretty slight.
Pretty.
I got a sleeper.
Randy ought to scratch his own name off the
Yeah,
list.
yeah.
I got a sleeper now. Can I walk down and look at their recap sheet and see what
Oh,
they got?
No,
hey,
come
hey,
on.
Hey,
Now you know that they're going to have a placard in front of them when they get up to the foul line, and it's going to tell you how many pins handicap they get a game.
bowlers only in the pit area, sir. Bowlers only and tournament directors.
Oh, good.
I'm looking for a 7.
Should be like any other professional sport or whatnot. Only athletes and coaches on the field. In the field of play. What happens when a parent goes out on the field during play?
They get ejected.
From the whole complex.
Right, pretty much, yeah. Yeah, he was looking at Mickey Brodigan on 57 and 58. She started out really good. She's the C bowler.
Oh, yeah?
Got a
218 game.
Yeah, great game for her. I mean, she's a solid player. She's
Is that
probably
the one right here in the black shirt?
yes. She's probably on a house shot. I'd say she's probably a good high 180 player.
Well, 218 on
Yeah, on this
condition.
is pretty
That's
good.
a really good game.
Yeah,
and
it
it's
is.
the thing that I look at is the fact that it's a clean game.
Yes.
And I'll tell you, I've been here today all day, since about noon, and
You haven't seen
honestly,
many of
I'm not
those.
sure if I've seen any.
Yeah.
I know these are the finalists now and whatnot, and I look up. A lot more spares over here than what I've seen throughout the day. I mean, down up there we had the last 8 strikes for 218. So
for Andy Wu. Yeah.
that tells you how the first part of the game started.
Well, unfortunately, yeah. Look what a comeback that was, because he went single pin miss, split, strike, washout, probably no 6 out, and then he throws the next 8 for 218. That's a hell of a comeback.
Well, the thing I see there is 9 out, 7 out, strikes, 6 out. And when I say out, I mean that is out, 0.
Yeah, 0.
I mean, you got to get a couple pins in there somewhere. I understand you might not get 9 for the frame, but minimum, in my opinion, should be 8.
Well, and that's
a big
what
4.
that's what we try to
get,
teach junior players that are coming up, the importance of getting what you can. For example, you'll see a player leave a 4-6. Well, the odds of them making the 4-6 might be 1 in 1,000 or more.
Probably less than that.
Okay, so
especially a junior bowler.
Yeah, so you get the 1, especially if you're on a strike or a double. It adds up, and if you give those 2 or 4 pins away and count, a lot of times it comes back to haunt you, and that's what we try to impress upon them.
Yeah, one they're upset.
Of course.
2, it's a 4-6, so they know the only way to make it is to bounce it out, so they try and throw it harder, and then when they do that, they lose control. And then they miss them all.
Right.
And you just, I even tell my kids all the time, get 1. Or
yes.
get, if it's a big 4, get 2.
Get 2.
Make sure you get 2.
Correct.
Don't worry about picking it up. Get 2. The scoring pace isn't 230, it's 170. Get 2.
Right.
And then they go and miss it, and I'm like, are you serious?
And again, part of the learning process, and then when that is over, hopefully we go, okay, we're going to analyze how we did. And you'll look at that line and you go, right here. This is what hurt us, because you didn't get what we impressed upon. You got to get as much as you can. Like you said, you leave a big 4, get 2. Got to get 2.
Unless it's the end of the game and you have
Correct.
to have it to win.
Yes, correct. Right.
But when you're bowling qualifying and stuff like that, you've got to get count.
Yep.
It's just like any sport. There's situations.
Yes.
And one situation is going to be different than the other, and you've got to evaluate the situation and figure out what's going to work in your favor at that time. You're going to attack it differently.
Yeah.
No different than when you're on different patterns. You're going to attack spares differently depending on what you leave, whether you go straight at them, whether you might hook at them. I like to, in the middle of the lane, I like to hook it. If I leave a single pin spare, I like to hook at it, or a 2-8.
Yes.
When you have the sleeper, you hook at it because you raise your chances of making a spare, in my opinion. And I like to hook at the ones in the middle of the lane because
that's your strike line.
Well, I'm playing that part of the lane.
Correct.
I know what that part of the lane is doing.
Right.
But when you start leaving corners and you start hooking them, now you're changing total different zones, a different part of the lane, and you don't know what that part of the lane's doing. So when you shoot at it, if you miss a little right, you miss a little left, who knows what the ball's going to do, and that's why you want to go straight at them. So, but on a house shot, for instance, you leave a 4-pin, I'm probably always going to hook at a 4-pin on a house shot.
Yes.
Because I know there's hook to the right and there's oil left. But on a sport condition, a much flatter condition, it's not always the case, and probably a lot less will I hook at it, especially a 4-pin on a sport condition, just because you have to get out of a totally different zone, part of the lane, and you don't know what that part of the lane's doing.
Yeah, and I'm noticing, at least in my travels, that I'm seeing more and more what I would consider decent players, 190 to 210. Mm-hmm. I'll give you a great example. They leave a 4-pin. I had a kid lose 2 titles because, and he's a good player, but rather than do exactly what you said, and that's how I play, I will hook at the 4-pin. I'm just going to move to right, and I'm just going to throw my target, and then I'm going to make the 4-pin or the 2-8, like you said. Move more right for a 7. Again, on a house shot we're talking about.
Right.
He grabbed his plastic ball. He moved left and went right at it and flagged it twice to lose 2 titles.
And I'll probably tell you it's probably because he doesn't practice shooting them that much.
Okay.
Or that in that environment on that type of pattern. Prime example, after junior gold, I said, I want to take my son and I want to bowl. I want the center to run 2 different shots.
Okay.
I want on one lane, I want 35 feet, and on the other lane, I want 45 feet. Because even if you throw a plastic ball that doesn't hook much, generate much friction, on a 35-foot pattern, it's still going to hook a little bit. On a 45-foot pattern, it's actually going to pick up speed, and it's going to go to the right more.
Yeah.
So you're going to, again, even though you're going straight, you still have to attack those a little bit differently on a short pattern to a long pattern, and your angles change a little bit. It's not drastic, but it's a little bit.
Yeah. Straight is not straight, is how it comes, because that
it's-
little movement
no.
can mean the difference between making it and
You
a
put
chop
a
or
little bit of
something.
side
Yeah.
roll on it, the ball is going to see it a little bit.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, a lot less than what a reactive ball or something
Sure.
might do, but
Sure.
it's still going to see it some. And that's where, and, I'm talking single pins.
Yeah.
And what about a bucket? Oh,
Yeah.
night and day different.
Yeah.
I mean, a whole nother ball game again. So, and when I say 30, I mean, I want 35 flat, 45 flat.
Right.
I don't want any friction, any built in anywhere.
Okay.
That's what's going to make him better. But unfortunately, we haven't had a chance to do that yet. But
How old is your son?
I just turned 14,
Okay.
middle of September, so about a month ago. And because that's, I mean, you see him miss so many spares and easy ones. I mean, you got to figure at minimum 10 pins a game. Won a game. That's all it is.
Yep. You're giving away 10, 11
and
pins
over,
again. Yep.
16 games. He missed 16 easy spares plus. I mean,
160,
you
200 pins,
you don't expect them to make every one,
Right.
but you can't miss in 16 games. You can't miss 20 single pin spares.
Yes,
I
exactly.
mean,
right.
at 14, I mean, if you left 20, or let's say 16 games, you got to figure on a harder shot, half of a frame. So out of 160 frames, you got to figure 80. Rough. I mean, maybe that's a little high, but 80. If you miss 20, I mean that number needs. I mean that 25% you're missing. That's too much.
Yes.
I mean that needs to be down in single digits.
Yes.
So even at 14, and I say 14 years old. I mean Jordan is very, very talented. He's already averaging in the 220s. Very, very solid physical game. Already making a name for himself at 13, 14 years old, bowling some of the regionals and stuff. And so I'm not talking about a normal 14-year-old.
Right,
I
right.
mean, it's kind of a freak of nature is how I always say it. So it's, to me, for him, 14, I would say more of a 17 or 18-year-old.
Okay.
And a very good 17 or 18-year-old.
Sure.
And, I mean, those guys shouldn't be missing. Again, those should be down in the single digits as far as percentage-wise go. So, question for you.
Yes.
So this is kind of bring me up to speed because I just came in. I got in late last night.
Okay.
And got here today. I know this is the 40th anniversary
Of the Amateur Bowlers Tour.
of event or
Yeah. The actual Amateur
Nationals.
Bowlers Tour.
40th anniversary nationals is what it's titled.
The actual Amateur Bowlers Tour in the beginning was called Amateur Bowlers Tour of California.
Okay, so that's where it
Because it was
generated.
started by the founder, Kendall Leiden. And so the territories were like L.A., San Francisco, Sacramento, San Diego.
Yeah, and now it's all over
Now
the country,
it's all over
right?
the country.
Yeah.
Right.
Is it only in the country still?
Yes.
It hasn't went out of the country or anything?
There was a time where we thought we were going to get a couple Canadian branches up in the
Makes sense.
Northwest. Because Northwest is still a hotbed. It really is.
Yeah.
And actually, they prefer to come down, which blows me away. But yeah, so
Right.
Seattle, Portland area still does very well. But and then of course, when I run Denver, and we were the first branch out of California. We were the first
Right.
one. So and as we, went to Colorado, Nebraska, and Quad Cities, into Chicago, New York, up in Massachusetts, he changed it to basically just Amateur Bowlers Tour. Modeled it after the PBA with dress codes and professionalism, this and that.
Makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And, and the game evolves, obviously. Equipment changes. But we now this group, we kind of tell people it's a social club that likes to bowl. So you'll see a lot of husbands and wives, a lot of boyfriend, girlfriend, or a lot of individuals that'll bowl every week, and basically it's to get together. They're going to bowl together. They're going to have a good time. When they're done, they make it, they don't make it, they're going to go out and eat. See you tomorrow. If you qualified, I'll come watch you type of thing, which is really nice. It's really a great environment. And they like that, even though there's good competition. It's not life or death. You know, you can win a couple thousand, which is great, but it's not going to change your life.
Right.
So let's enjoy it. Let's have fun.
Absolutely.
And that's where we're at.
Gotcha. But for this event here,
Myron decided
again, I think we're bowling for
$40,000
for the main event.
Yes.
And there's a bunch of different other events.
Correct.
I'm learning.
All these.
There's like a senior event.
Correct.
There was
the senior event was yesterday.
something else,
And this
gold
morning,
event or something.
Right. This morning we had the high five with Lindsay
stuff.
Boomershine, who we're bringing the high five shirts into play.
So that was a whole nother event.
Yes,
too.
correct.
Oh, okay. So there's a lot of different ways to go about
cashing,
cashing, making
some
money, doing
right.
whatever, picking up some, little side stuff. So
Sure.
it's,
And as the squads get bigger, I mean, just like brackets alone, it's not unusual to see 200 brackets on a qualifier. And if they have the confidence in themselves, they'll get in them, make some good money.
Are these all handicap brackets, scratch brackets,
all
both,
handicap
or
brackets.
all handicap?
Yep.
Okay. It's been a while since I've been out here with you guys.
No, I think we were at Samstown the last time.
I think so.
Yeah.
So it's been a little while, and I believe that was probably one of the $100,000 events that was going on, possibly. I'm not sure.
Actually, the first $100,000 event was hosted by South Point in the bowling stadium, or in the bowling center. The stadium was not yet completed. So, and that was amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Maybe that was just a $50,000 at Samstown or something.
And we've had those too.
Yeah, but so getting out to see some older faces, but see a lot of new faces.
Correct. Yeah.
A lot. I mean, and that was kind of where I was going with all this is how many members do you think are here at this event this weekend or this week?
Bodies,
I guess I should say.
It's this week. I would say you're looking at 600 to 700 actual bodies.
It's pretty solid.
Not bad. Yeah,
pretty
not
solid.
bad. And again, we run 4 events a year in Las Vegas, and what are the odds of somebody, number one, being able to take 4 weeks off out of work? You know how hard it is. So we'll see.
You can break it down and just come in on. Well, you could just come in on a weekend. Couldn't you?
Could, yes.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and
yes.
maybe just go for the main event or something,
right.
or maybe I don't know. If
the West Coast guys have a little bit of an advantage because they could literally drive in Friday night, bowl Saturday or Sunday, make it or not. If they don't make it, they hit the road again, and they don't lose any work time.
Right.
But if they're coming from Baltimore, Philadelphia, whatever, it's the airfare. Even though they might only be coming in for maybe 2 nights, it's still a good amount of expense for them to come in. 4 times a year is very rare outside of the people that live close.
Right.
But we'll still see those faces. Like I'll see certain people right now in October, where I won't see them in July, I won't see them in January, but I might see them in April and I might see them in October. They'll pick their 2,
right,
and they'll give it their best shot.
Yep.
So it's pretty cool. Like you said, you're going to see, and some guys you see every tournament. And it's just like at home,
Oh, for
You'll
sure.
see them every week. So, it's pretty neat. And I like the fact that we're getting a lot of new faces, getting a lot more of the league bowlers interested in tournament play.
Yeah. So a little funny. I just watched. Randy's back. Perfect time. That's what I was going to talk about. So,
What pair were you looking at?
The gentleman in the red and white shirt on 51.
Okay.
Is that Roy Adams?
Yes, it is. You're right. Yes.
So he just got a strike, and I'm watching him bowl. I watched him bowl the last squad too.
Okay.
But right before the squad, he comes up to me and goes, "Hey, you got any advice for me?" Randy told me to just quit. I said, "Well, I mean, I'd be a little nicer." I said, "I would at least tell you to take 2 weeks off first. Take a little vacation before you just quit." But no.
And we have fun with them. That's cool for us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
These guys know that. I mean, we're just We're human beings just like all of them, and
I remember the one time
we all
a
just
guy
love
came up to
a great sport.
Yeah, a guy came up to Randy and he said, Randy, type of like you, will you watch me throw a couple balls? Tell me what you think. And it's going to come. So the one guy, he was real serious. And Randy looked at him, dead, that deadpan, and he goes, can you throw with the other hand? If he gets some practice, you think he can actually throw the ball better left-handed or whatever? And they both just cracked up.
Yeah, that's a classic Randy move right there.
So we're in game 2 in our doubles format out of 3. Again, it's going to be hard to tell you who, as a team, is really doing well because some of these guys have 7 and 8 different partners out there. And then there's their team handicap involved on top of it. So it's a crapshoot, but it's good to see some of them out there. And it lessens the tension for these guys because they don't know either. They don't know the people that they're bowling. They don't know who their partners are. They don't know what their handicap is. So they wind up just relaxing and just throwing the ball, which is what you want to do anyway.
Bowl your game.
Exactly. And I noticed when the sport patterns really started to come into play, so many of your league bowlers, they have an A game, but pretty much that's it. Like guys that like to play the ditch are going to play the ditch.
Oh, yeah.
Guys that like to swing the ball are going to swing the ball in a specific area. These shots we're teaching them, look at what the ball does. Look at the ball reaction. See how the lane transitions.
You're trying to.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean they are, but you're definitely trying.
Yeah. But again, at least we're getting them to make a move. Oh, she... Wes is trying to get Angie's attention. Angie works with Storm. She's a doll.
Yeah.
It's a shame she has to put up with Randy. But
I didn't even know she was here until I just saw her.
Yeah.
Let me see. Let me scout, because I got to find out, too. Where's the list of guys that made it?
We don't know yet. Oh, do they have them on the board?
There's only 4 names on my whole list. They're still in.
So you're hoping to get one of them.
Well, that's what...
Well, he just missed.
That's his pick to click. I don't know. Is Stevie out there?
Wash out. Yeah, he's right here.
Oh, okay.
He's by far the best bowler, but he gets a 0 handicap.
Right. He gets no sticks.
Oh, he's the... Okay, that's the guy we were talking about earlier.
Yeah. Lefty.
He works for Myron, Will Droop. He's a good bowler. He's a good bowler.
I haven't seen Lamar win, but lefty.
Hey, handicap's key.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to tell them.
We've got to use handicap in this
Correct.
thing, right?
Right.
I mean, I guess they only get whatever their handicap is. You only get 25% of it, I would assume. But hey,
or what they're going to do is if you get 25, he gets 30. They're going to add the 4 handicaps per game altogether.
So what's the handicap based off of?
70% of 225.
Okay, so since I don't bowl league, that means that it's the handicap's based off of 210, right? So I get
Nice
70% of 15 pins, right?
Wow. You're almost as bad as him.
Well, I've been hanging around him a lot lately.
It's going to be a lot of fun. You are. You're gonna really dig this.
Take a break. Let me get on with Wes.
Oh God, here we go.
Oh boy.
All right, I'm going to step aside. He's going because he wants to ran at you.
All right.
Hey, so there's this lady bowling on 53 and 54 who I've worked with a couple of times.
On 53 and 4?
Yeah, Elaine Purdy.
Uh-huh.
Nice lady. Her and her husband, the daughter, they all bowl the ABT. She told me years ago that she tried to model her game after you.
How's that working out?
Well, her swing is over her left, her backswing is over her left shoulder, and I've tried to straighten her backswing out.
Does my swing get over my left shoulder?
What's that?
Does my swing get over?
No.
Over my left shoulder?
No, your swing goes out to in, and hers goes in to out.
Yeah,
It goes the wrong direction,
the wrong
and
figure 8.
I've tried to help her with that. Now, that being said, she's a pretty good bowler, and she's had some success in ABT, and she's made some good money. Her husband's a good bowler, and I haven't seen the daughter bowl in a while. But the next time she's up, I want you to watch her. Is it
the one sitting down?
Yes.
In the purple shirt?
Yes.
Yeah, there it is.
And you're her idol, and she tried to model her game after you.
Ooh.
I got to be honest with you. I am not looking forward to bowling this team event
Why not?
because I don't have swing and hold on this pattern.
You're not at Planet Fun.
I need swing and hold.
This isn't fun?
You've bowled.
This isn't Planet Fun?
No, you've bowled on our house shot at Planet Fun, and you know what they're like.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Why? Because they're too easy?
Because there's too much hook to the right.
There is a lot of hook to the right.
And I don't just throw it at it. I actually try and roll it and read it, and it just looks too much.
I am the human sprinkler, and it doesn't show there. What's going on in your world these days? What do you got going on?
Oh, just, as you know, we lost my mom at the end of September, and still wrapping up some stuff with that, and had to make a trip to San Antonio actually Thursday before I came here yesterday to meet with the funeral people and stuff and finish. Basically, I think that wrapped it up. It's done. So, there's still some stuff there, but kids are still very active with baseball, and obviously pro shops have been ridiculously busy. I'm going to say I don't understand it. I mean, I do understand, but every year since we've had the shop, the sales have increased every year, and we're now that was November of 09, so we're 8 years in, and every year the numbers have went up. And there's years that I understand because a center might have closed down and a pro shop got, shut down, so you're going to engulf a little bit of business from that or this or that or whatever the case may be. Another center open, they don't have a pro shop, so you're getting some business from them. But the last couple of years, that hasn't been the case, and she struck. That's just like me.
Yeah, so, just like you.
But, it's like any business. I mean, you can have a good year, but the question is were you good enough to bring them back?
Right.
And,
well, obviously you're doing something right.
And the funny thing is I'm like, it's busy. Well, I haven't been here. Maybe I need to stay away. But, it also helps to have a great business partner like Gary Robinson that I have, and, a man who loves bowling and is very much, I would like to think like me, and kind and willing to give back and basically bend over backwards for you or do whatever you need to make things right. And it's not always about the bottom dollar, if you want to say, and there's more to it. I mean, sometimes you got to give a little, but you also get a little too. So.
And you're a busy guy. I mean, with the pro shops and with your tour schedule and with your exhibitions, your storm work, and 3 kids.
Oh yeah,
not a lot of extra time there.
Yeah, I need to clone about 10 of me, and then I might be able to sleep at night. But definitely busy. But you got to do what you got to do to keep the food on the table, and do the things we like to do.
Chasing the buck around the world is what we do.
Yep. It's not always about the money, but
Oh yes, it is.
Well, I mean, it is. But,
oh yes, it is.
It is.
But we have a great time
it's
along
still,
the way too, though.
There's a lot of things you can do without money too. You got to have a good time, no matter what.
Yeah. And if I wasn't having fun doing it, I wouldn't be doing it.
Absolutely.
But getting back to this team event that we've got coming up right after the doubles, you've been watching balls go down the lane. You know the pattern's 43 feet. What are you seeing out there, and what kind of strategy are you going to take to the lanes? How are you going to play them? Love it.
I'm not real sure.
Yeah, me neither. Did you bring urethane?
This is no. This is the first time I've seen the fresh.
Yeah.
So I wasn't really making too big of a judgment off of what I've seen already, but I know they're 43 feet. And, I watch a couple guys, and they make them look fairly playable. And then you watch some of them, and they make them look harder than the U.S. Open of old.
Yeah.
With the flat patterns and stuff like that. Now they make them a little bit more favorable, but it's because we're bowling 24 games without an oil, so they have to be a little bit more playable.
Right.
To factor in the fact that when they break down, they're going to get pretty disgusting. So, but as far as I'm playing, I mean, the balls I brought were I drilled an intense this week, and that ball looks pretty amazing.
Intense. I brought mine.
Out of the 3 games I bowled with it, I shot 792.
Nice.
With a 204 game in the middle.
Wow.
So calculate that. 299 with a wrap 10 and 289 with a wrap 10.
Holy cow.
And then I also drilled up the new matchup hybrid. Both of those balls are releasing on Friday coming up.
I got mine at home. I haven't drilled it yet, but I
haven't drilled any of the matchups yet, so I'm kind of excited to see what this one does.
Yeah. I think that matchup with that hybrid cover stock is going to be really good.
I think so. I don't think it's going to be in play today, but I brought it.
No.
And then I brought a trusty old Phase 2.
Trusty old Phase 2?
Something solid with a little bit of surface.
Sure.
Knowing that it's 43 feet. That's why I just kind of threw that in the bag out of what I had. So, still got some work to prep and get balls to New York this next week.
When do you leave for the U.S. Open?
I leave Wednesday.
Okay. I will not be there.
I was going to say, when do you leave? But
I will not be there.
Why not?
That is a CBS Sports Network and USBC show, and I don't do those.
Were you not invited at all?
Was not.
Yeah, that's another thing. I like the fact that they are making it if you want to say elite field or whatnot, but I don't know that all the criteria is right. And I think they are aware of that too, possibly. I mean, it might take a couple years to figure it out, but I don't know. Time will tell.
Do you think it should take a couple years to figure that out?
No, it shouldn't. It shouldn't, but I'm not here to brag on it or do whatever.
No, I got you. I bowled U.S. Opens for a long time, obviously, and I remember the U.S. Open being hard. I remember there being a lot of AMs that won spots throughout the country,
and that's how it should be.
And then
and I don't know the criteria this year either.
Right, and then all that traffic from them, and kind of navigating your way through that, and then once you got to match play, it was all touring players. And
maybe an amateur here, just as the U.S. Open in golf.
Right, there's
always amateurs there.
Agreed.
And, they always follow them.
Agreed.
They show you the list. They compare the amateurs to the professionals.
Right.
And there might be one or two that are in the mix.
Correct.
Every year. And most of the time they don't make the final
right.
or the advance or whatnot. But every now and then there's one or two that do, and they get followed as they should.
Yep. So but it was a big event for the AMs. They would have an opportunity to qualify for the U.S. Open. We had 400 entries, and it was just, it was just kind of a cool event because of that. And you knew going in that you had to deal with guys that didn't know the double jumping rule and didn't know what pair to go to next, and we get all that. The U.S. Open is all about patience. You know that as well as anyone. You're a former U.S. Open champ, and you know how important it is to be patient in that event. But that's kind of what it was, and I don't remember anybody saying, I don't remember any of the touring players, any of us guys saying, this is dumb. They should change this. This should be something different. You just knew going in that was the deal, and it was still the U.S. Open.
I will say this to their defense. I think the biggest issue with that and why they had to make a change was because there are not many facilities in this country that can host a tournament with 400 entries.
I understand.
And those options are, don't get me wrong, there's still a couple. You're not going to get 400 entries in here, but this would be, 60 lanes is still a little tight, but there's not many centers that have 80 lanes like you need to have 400 entries.
Right. 3 squads, 80 entries.
Yep.
3 squads, 400 entries.
160, 100 and whatever entry
Right.
it is.
Now let me ask you this: Do you think
120.
the U.S. Open should be open to every PBA member who wants to bowl? If you're a PBA member, pay your entry fee, you should be allowed to bowl the U.S. Open.
It's hard to argue that. Very hard to argue that. If you're supporting or if you're in the top tier of bowling, and the PBA is definitely the benchmark of that, how do they not have priority or something like that to get in? I absolutely.
And if you don't open it up to every PBA member, then I like what the PGA Tour does. Have qualifiers for the PBA members that aren't invited. You have a couple of AM spots that get in based on the same thing. You have qualifying for PBA events regionally. For PBA members, you have qualifying for that regionally. And if you win a regional spot, you're in the U.S. Open. And think about the money you could generate doing that as well. You win the tournament, you get a free entry plus X amount of dollars. I think there's a lot of opportunities there. You could start by your national tour list and go down your point list there. Go to your regional point list, take X amount of guys from each region. And then after that, you got X amount of spots left. Open it up for qualifying around the country.
Part of the problem is you're saying take people from the regions and stuff. A lot of those regional bowlers only bowl on the weekend and don't want to take time off to go bowl like the Open. So you're losing a lot of spots there by doing that, and that's the kind of the unfortunate part of it. You're losing a lot of guys there for that, and which is unfortunate but understandable too.
Well, and I get that part of it, but it's just one tournament a week, one tournament a year, like the Open, where people kind of put that on their calendar, take however many days off from work, vacation, what have you. It'd be kind of the same thing for the U.S. Open. And so you have 2 tournaments slated for the year that you'd like to compete in, and then go bowl your qualifier. And if you make it through the qualifier, you have enough time to take that vacation time. If you're one of those full-time working guys and you got your spot, you take your vacation, go bowl the U.S. Open. And again, I liked what you said. Hey, we're not knocking what they're. And I don't know the criteria. I don't know how you got in. And you know what?
Yeah.
Listen, it's USBC's event, and they run it however they see fit. I'm merely suggesting a couple of options. That's all.
Correct. Yeah. By no means am I trying to bash on them.
No.
Like I said, I'm fortunate enough. I say I'm fortunate enough. I'm not fortunate enough. I earned my way there.
Right.
But and I know I was in, and therefore I didn't really look at it, and I don't get into the whole political side of it. And again, I'm probably totally wrong for even probably talking about this, because I don't have all the information to back it up in the way it is. But I know a couple of guys that didn't get in, and it's hard for me to understand and accept the fact that those guys didn't get in. I'm not going to mention names or do anything like that, but and I think those guys actually got in because other people didn't accept their spots or whatnot. But from the get-go, it shouldn't have even been an option.
I hear you.
That's my opinion. But
well,
you got a guy that's got 30-something titles and isn't invited to the U.S. Open, and he's still active on tour.
Now that makes no sense.
How does that make any sense to
None.
me? So. Yeah, I'm telling you.
I know who that player is, and I'm shocked.
Right. Like I said, and I think they knew he was going to get into based off of who wasn't going to accept and do this and do that, but shouldn't even come down to that.
Is he in?
Yeah.
He is now in.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So anyhow, What are we game? Is this
Game
end
two.
of game 2?
End of game 2.
We got a little sidetrack there. Sorry about that, but
Listen,
we
we
got some pretty decent scores up here. Possible 220, 230s. That tells me this condition's fairly playable. You got a possible 240 over here. Sean Ashley. So, my girl Elaine, we got sidetracked. She threw a 3-bagger when we first started talking about her.
Yeah.
And then 9 out. So, she definitely has kind of the backwards figure 8 swing, which forces her to dive into the swing too.
Yeah.
Or, her last step goes to the right, dives into it. And then she kind of decelerates too a little bit.
Yeah, hand on the side at release because that is
It's the whole
that's a product.
elbow bends and
Yep.
arm stops. And you got to extend through.
That's a product of her swing being behind her.
Yep. I didn't know we had a personal waiter. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah, that was Joe.
Thanks, Joe.
Joe, he is an ABT branch manager out of Northern California, NorCal.
NorCal.
Yeah. Been around forever. Good guy. Yeah, I think I'm going to be shooting a lot of spares tonight. Hopefully I make most of them.
I won't be that bad.
I brought an Intense, a Daredevil Trick, and a Hustle Ink.
That I'm putting holes in soon. How's yours?
Hustle Ink?
Yeah.
Really good.
Is it?
Yeah, really good. I think that's...
Does it need friction, though?
It needs a little bit of friction, but...
Which it should, based off of its price point. But
right.
It's not going to be your ball that you go out and bowl on 30 mils of oil,
right.
45 feet. I mean, not off the fresh.
I think that...
It's supposed to be.
I think that you're going to really, really like that ball. I just see that really matching up well with you and what you like to do.
We'll see. It's a solid color ball. I like color. I like contrasting colors, like the Intense, green, white, and black. I like seeing those colors contrast each other going down the lane. But then there's IQ, High Roads. I mean, those balls still roll really good, have their time, and they're solid color balls. So still excited to put some holes in it and see what it does.
Hank Boomershine drilled mine up when I was at Storm a couple weeks ago,
Yep.
and drilled my Intense.
Drilled you an oval thumb.
Made me a thumb, 2 thumbs actually, and I haven't bowled since Monday, so this is going to be really, really exciting. I was going to ask you something, and I lost my train of thought. What is the biggest difference you see between Intense and No Rules Pearl?
Obviously, Intense I've thrown 3 games with, so I bowled Monday Night League with it. That's it. So I mean, I can't tell you a huge comparison, but based off of a little bit that I know and I've seen, I would have to say definitely a little longer than a No Rules Pearl, and a little bit more on the back end than a No Rules Pearl too. Definitely, you get on enough oil, I can see them being I don't want to say allergic to oil, but can get a little long and would need to scratch the surface a little bit. I don't think they need a lot, but just a little bit. And if that case, if it's a little long, I think something that's going to give you a very similar reaction, but something that's going to pick up is going to be a Code Red. It's going to be almost, and then so Code Red goes away. I think this is boom. That's your Intense is your option. A little bit more than maybe a Code Black. So kind of in between a Code Black and a Code Red, I think.
Gotcha.
From a little bit that Code Black I know is a great ball. I know a lot of people like it. It wasn't one of my favorites.
I love that ball.
Hasn't went down the lane a lot for me from
Right.
where I bowl and what I bowl on, and I think it's just because with my release and everything, I'm so clean through the front.
Yep.
It never reads it. it's too long.
You're super clean
That's
through
what
the
I see.
front, and then when Code Red came out and I asked you, how do you like Code Red? You go, unbelievable, I love it. For me, Code Red's earlier,
It
reads
is
earlier
for sure.
because my stuff likes to read early. And it's just because my release sucks.
Timing's a little early, probably.
I'm just bad.
No, you're not
And
bad.
oh, and I forgot
Not bad.
the other part, old.
No, you just only bowl in a house shot these days. So
What's wrong with that?
Which makes you bad.
No, I was bad before I started bowling on house shots. Don't use that as an excuse, buddy. Nick Lasource is back.
So have you been having fun, gentlemen?
We always
When-
have fun. We talked about that, right? We
When
always
is-
have fun.
When is it not fun when you get to hang with Wes?
Good point.
He's like one of the classiest guys on tour. I don't know of anybody that doesn't like Wes Malott.
Have you met my wife?
Oh, no, she loves you. She'd have dumped you a long time ago. Oh, actually, no.
Love and like
no,
are different
no,
words.
no. Wait a minute.
Love and like are different words.
Let,
sir.
let me change that to as long as the cash keeps rolling in, you're safe.
Oh.
Wrapping up game 2 here, 2017 ABT Fall Nationals, the 40th anniversary of ABT. Nick's been here for all 40, okay,
No,
30 of the 40,
no. Thank you.
but seems like 40.
It seems like 50.
Nick's like a cold sore, hard to get rid of.
Man.
Wes is the master of working his teleprompter on his phone and
Well,
calling the action on the live stream. How many viewers do we have
Yeah.
currently right now?
16.
Not enough.
we bored them, Randy.
I wonder how many folks actually knew we were live streaming this event. And I think that in itself is where the problem is. So we need to do a better job marketing to let everybody know that, hey, we're going to be live streaming this. We're going to be live streaming the finals. 40,000 for first. Somebody will win 40 grand or have the opportunity
Right.
to win 40 grand. And you can watch that on the live stream. And where is this being shown right now? What's the site? The site is ColoradoSports.TV. See? I didn't even know that. And I'm doing it. You know what we were talking about yesterday, Wes? Marijuana dispensaries. That was a great conversation. It's legal here now. I don't know if you knew that, Wes.
Oh, no.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't it, quote, medical only? Oh, it's
No.
it's free? It's out there?
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
The crazy thing that they were telling us was that Nick was saying what is the thing you were telling us about the money, Nick?
Oh, here's the crazy part. Colorado, of course, legalized it a couple years ago, and they have their dispensaries and whatever. Now, they're making some serious money, Wes.
Oh, yeah. I
Now,
know.
here's the fun part. They cannot open a bank account because it's insured by the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation. So because federally it's illegal, they will not allow them to bank their money.
How's that?
Now, so my thing is I'm going, it's all cash. What do you do with it? And we were
So
talking about
it's not being reported. That's awesome.
Oh, no.
No,
It's
they're
being
paying
reported.
taxes.
They pay tax on
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
They just can't put the
Okay.
money in a bank. If they put the money in a bank, then the feds can come in and actually seize all of the money. They can take all that cash. So what they're doing is they're putting money in houses like up in the mountains and storing money in there. And one guy was reported that he lost $2 million in one of these houses because rats ate it.
really because of the smell. I guess it attracted them. Yeah. Have a nice
You
day.
want to talk about some rats that were not only stoned but rich. I mean,
Yeah.
Might want to put it in a some type
Something.
of metal
Well, yeah,
box or
why don't-
something.
But here's the crazy part. I mean, the state is doing well because of that, obviously. But don't you think the state would step in and say, "We'll insure it. We'll insure your money," and let them open up?
Nick, that's a ridiculous statement because
Why?
that only makes sense.
Absolutely correct. So you'll never see it.
Have you ever seen the movie War Dogs? It's a recent movie, and it's about two guys that were running arms,
Okay.
selling arms and ammunition and whatnot. and they basically fly to Afghanistan and for one of their deals, and they're selling ammunition and guns to the U.S. military. And this is based on a true story. And I can't remember the actors' names, but the one guy is that heavy-set guy. God, if you say again. Jonah Hill, and then the other guy, I can't remember his name. But anyway, I'll Google it because.
Okay.
So since I'm talking about it, I will Google who's in War Dogs, and then tell you the rest of the story. So they go through what's called the Death Triangle.
Oh, no wonder.
No wonder what.
I'm looking at your list. I just saw a guy throw a ball and he caught my eye. He's the one that circled on your list.
Yeah. So it's Jonah Hill, Miles Teller, two main characters. They drive through what the military calls the Death Triangle or the Triangle of Death, and they don't even know it. They're getting chased by the Taliban. They're getting shot at. Here comes a U.S. military helicopter. They blow the Taliban to bits, and these guys go in, and they deliver their ammunition. And the guy running whatever base camp they were at that time selling the ammo to, he goes, "Boys, pretty impressive. Didn't know you could do it." And he looks to another guy and says, "Now take him in and get him paid." And they walk into this house, and there's, I want to say, $30 billion in cash.
$30 billion?
Yeah. That's wrapped in cellophane.
Right.
It was $3 billion or $30 billion.
Whatever, yeah.
All cash.
A ton of money, yeah.
And I'm like, and they were looking at this block of cash going, and the one guy that's getting ready to pay him goes, "Yep, 30 million or 3 million, whatever it was, billion." And they're like, "Are you kidding me?" And I think they made like $30 million on that one deal.
What would you do with $3 billion?
I would give a lot of it away because I don't need that much.
And if you
And who would
believe
you
that,
give it to?
No, I'm not. And Nick thinks I'm kidding, but
as you just said,
I would
I said life doesn't revolve around money, and you said, "Oh yes, it does."
I would sprinkle it amongst all of my friends.
How much would I get?
As much as you needed, because if I had $3 billion, son, and you said, "Randy, could I have 30 million?" It would be like me giving you $3. All right. So then, what I would do
Well, you
is
won't give me $3 now, so
wow.
I'm out.
I'll give you $3 if I thought you needed it. Then what I would do is I would take money and I would help all of the animal shelters, and I would buy land so that they could basically save dog. I'm a dog guy, and so I would
Thor?
Thor, yeah, our big black lab, Thor.
He's big.
And so I would do stuff for that. I would do stuff like Habitat for Humanity. I would take care of our homeless and our military vets. I would get these people off the streets, and I'd get them into housing and get them to work.
All right, let me ask you
so
a question.
That's
what
what
you're
I would
saying
do.
is you'd be broke in about 7 months.
Not with 30 billion, sir.
All right, so I said $3 billion.
Oh, 3 billion.
But still.
Still, with 3 billion, yeah, no.
So you said you would give a lot of it to your friends. So a lot of your friends bowl out on tour, right?
I don't have a lot of friends that bowl on tour anymore. I have acquaintances and people that I interact with because I have to. But a lot of friends, like friends, like go to dinner,
Oh.
do exhibitions with, I have a handful.
I hear you. So my question was going to be so would you just give your friends money?
Yes.
Or would you say either buy the PBA or create your own tour and give them something to bowl and give them money that way?
Yes to both.
Good question.
I'd buy the PBA tour, and I would put $100 million into the first year, like Johnny Petraglia suggested. I'd put $100 million into the tour. We'd have 26 stops, all televised, and $1 million for first place each and every week. And it didn't matter if it was a major or a regular event. They would be, half of them would be arena finals, or maybe a third would be arena finals. And
Why wouldn't they all be arena finals?
we could do that if the money worked out and $100 million was enough to make that happen. And here's the point Johnny Petraglia made, which I thought was brilliant. Randy, if the owners put $100 million into the tour,
How much would it cost to build an arena?
oh God,
I mean,
Lots.
you're only talking four. You only need. Well, if you built an arena for like the tour, right?
That traveled with you?
No.
Like
No.
one place.
Yeah.
Hang on, I'm not. I know where you're going. I'm not done. So I asked you a question first, and then I'm going to go. I have another question to follow it.
Okay.
But if you have just to build an arena, you need 2 lanes for the show.
Right.
Well, you're going to have to put 1 or 2 lanes somewhere else for guys to warm up
Right.
and get loose and stay loose because it's terrible to
Right.
not have that. Even just having a 3rd or 4th lane built in with the arena for show, which would be fine, but that's not good enough to stay loose and warm. There should be a separate hall, room down the hallway over there.
Get to your question.
Right? So how much would it be to build an arena like that with seating and stuff like that? $5 million?
Yeah.
Maybe.
How
Probably
many?
not even that.
How many seats we talking? 3,000 max?
Yeah.
All right.
Probably not
$3
even 3,000, but
$3 million bucks, let's say.
$3 million. So let's say out of that $100 million, you take. Let's say you build. I mean, just to start, maybe you only build 4 arenas throughout the country.
Okay.
Maybe 6. Whatever that number is.
All right.
Maybe obviously you're going to have one up in probably New York somewhere, one in California somewhere, or wherever. So you're going to have them strategically placed. Would you consider doing that right away for those to be the TV show and have the TV shows in those arena settings?
No. I wouldn't do it that way. So what I would do is I would have arena finals in each city that we had the tournament, and whether it was a convention center, whether it was U.S. Cellular Arena that we were renting for that one Sunday, whatever the case may be. That's how I would do it. And then, excuse me. Getting back to what I was trying to finish and what Johnny Petraglia said was, he said, if the tour paid $1 million for first each and every week, at the end of 26 weeks, your leading money winner made $4 million for the year, and you have millionaires bowling on tour now. The entire dynamics of our sport changes
100%.
from top to bottom. Now, let's get to the meat. Do you think that there is a sponsor out there that would turn their nose up at becoming a sponsor and being involved in something like that?
No.
Absolutely.
No.
So the message was, in order to get that big sponsor, get those sponsors, we have to infuse life into the tour, and we have to put money in it to where
Because I can
it
promise
makes it
you, if we're
attractive.
bowling for $1 million compared to $10,000, $20,000, our demeanor on the lanes changes drastically.
The entire dynamics of the sport changes.
Oh, absolutely.
More people start bowling because now they have a reason
There's
to
a
become a
reason.
professional.
There's a
Correct.
reason to get better.
When more people start bowling, what happens? Bowling centers come back. More bowling centers are made. More people bowl. Proprietors make more money. More bowling balls are sold. Manufacturers make more money. More people are sanctioned. USBC makes more. It is a trickle-down effect from top to bottom, and everybody wins. My only question about this Johnny Petraglia idea is, we put $100 million in. We've got 26 weeks. We've got arena finals, and first place is $1 million each and every week. And we got our money leader at the end of the year that made $4 million.
Right.
How do you guarantee me getting those sponsorship dollars? Because I don't think the owners are going to do it 2 or 3 years in a row. So
Exactly.
I would need a marketing strategist, somebody that does that for a living, to come in and go, oh yeah, absolutely, they'll be lined up at your door. Or is it, I'm not sure. The whole thing about the $1 million is like when they came out with Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Everybody watched that show for one reason and one reason only, and that was to see who would win $1 million, not to see if they could answer the questions.
How many people ever won $1 million on that show?
I don't know, but I do remember the most infamous one that won that show, when it was the $1 million question. He still had 2 or 3 lifelines
Yeah,
left.
all of them. He called his dad.
And he used, I want to use my phone a friend, and called his dad and said, Dad, guess what? I'm getting ready to win $1 million. Answer the question, and he won $1 million.
No, Reed just tells him the whole deal, and
Yeah.
he's like, so he he needs your help on this. He goes, Dad, I really don't need your help. I'm just here calling you to tell you I'm about to win $1 million.
Yeah. I don't know.
Wow.
Obviously, you guys never saw that,
No.
and that's what happened.
Wow.
The guy knew he was going to win $1 million, had the lifelines, calls his dad, and tells his dad, "Dad, I'm getting ready to win $1 million." So, the point. So, guys, listen. So again, getting back to how the dynamics change. Non-bowling people now watch the shows. We're talking about a sport where you don't get CTE from playing it,
Right.
where you can be any size, shape, tall, short, thin, fat, anything in between.
Yep.
You got guys,
Hang on.
Norm Duke size to Wes Malott size, that are champions on the tour, and it's affordable to everyone.
Yes.
C.J. Anderson, he's already bowled the bends. Throws it off the wrong foot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let me tell you. So I know I heard something about C.J. Anderson, but I will tell you one thing. Mookie Betts has said he would rather bowl than play baseball.
Are you serious?
Really?
But
What is wrong with him?
he obviously plays baseball because that's where the money is. But he would rather bowl than play baseball.
He loves bowling more than baseball, and he's making how many millions a year playing baseball?
He's not making
Well, it
multiple
does-
millions yet.
But what he's trying to
going
tell you is it really doesn't matter. His if he had a choice and money wasn't an issue,
he would rather
bowl.
bowl than play baseball. And I understand that. It's the same thing I'm going through with my son right now. He would rather bowl than play baseball. Baseball is boring. Practice stinks. It's hard work. Bowling, when you practice, you keep score, you get something out of it. You don't do that with baseball.
No, I hear you. Mookie's only making $950,000 for 2017.
Told you.
But he's going to get a big contract where he's going to be
It's
making
coming.
tens of millions of dollars a
It's
year.
coming.
And you know what? That's pretty spectacular that he would come out and say that. But again, I think that if you go back and you look at the beginning of this conversation, which was infuse the tour with $100 million and see what happens. Johnny sat me down. I was doing a extra frame event for the seniors, and I can't remember the city. It was I think it was Fort Wayne.
Okay.
And Johnny sat me down, and I've known and respected Johnny for a long time. Johnny signed me to my first ever staff contract, and he's always that great storyteller. He's got great stories, and he hit me up with this, and he goes, "Try this one." And I sat and he goes, Randy, he says the owners are billionaires. He says if the tour made a profit of $20 million, do you think that would be something that would excite the owners? And stupid me, I'm like, $20 million profit? Heck yeah. And he goes, no, not when you're a billionaire.
Yeah.
And then he started using the math, and he goes,
As you said, that's like $2.
so like if you were a millionaire and you spent like $3,000 a day, it would take you like 3 years to spend $1 million. He says if you're a billionaire and you spend $3,000 a day, it takes you 300 years to spend that money. So I mean that's the whole dynamics of what he was talking about. That's why when you said $3 billion, I mean $3 billion, dude. And Nick jokes, "Oh, Randy, you'll be broken too." It's impossible. You can't spend it. So now
You wouldn't think.
So we've got a tour right now where we are basically treading water.
Yes.
And the owners aren't infusing any capital. And you know what?
Well,
They
already
did it.
tried.
They did it at the beginning. In my opinion, hired the wrong guy, and he blew through their cash. And if I was the owner, I'd probably be doing the same thing. But I'll tell you what. You talk about the $3 billion. Remember when the lottery was $1.5 billion?
Yes, I do.
And if you won it, I think what was the buyout? The payout was like $600 or $700 million, right?
Correct.
I would love to see what would happen if Mark Cuban bought the tour and said, "I know exactly how to turn this around." Now, let me ask you this: would you agree that Mark Cuban is a good businessman?
I would say so.
He's a phenomenal businessman. Okay,
He's.
right?
I mean, he's made a lot of his money from investments.
Phenomenal businessman. If let's say you had this $1 billion, he might be the first guy I go to and say, "Mr. Cuban, thank you very much for seeing me. Got an idea for you. Here's our tour. This is what the players are bowling for. This is how many people touch a bowling ball every year. And this is my idea. This is what I'm thinking about doing. I want to put $100 million in. I want to have 26 to 30 weeks with $1 million on top. Half of the tournaments are going to be in arena finals. We will pay the bowling centers to come in and bowl instead of them having to pay the PBA to come in. This way we can pick and choose where we go. And it'll only be the finest venues throughout the country. Our formats are going to be like they used to be, 2 formats, 1 major format, 1 regular format. The players are going to be on A squad 1 week. The next week they know they're going to be on B squad. They know exactly what times, the formats. This is my idea. I would love, and the trickle-down effect from the top and everything that we talked about. I'm dying to know what Mark Cuban's response to that would be.
Well, I'll sign you up for Shark Tank.
Yeah.
Well, I'm here seeking $100 million. Hang on, because here's the pitch.
Yeah.
Right.
Hi, I'm Sharks. I'm here seeking $100 million for 100% of my company. Well, what do you mean? Yeah, I just want you guys to buy the tour. Put $100 million in for that 1 year and see what happens. I wonder. God, it's killing me to know if he would go, I think that's a great idea, or if he would say, Randy, it's impossible. That'll never work. And he would know. That guy would know. And so that guy exists. That guy is out there. So now if it's me,
there's more than one out there.
We've tried, right. Kevin O'Leary. I mean, listen, there's some smart people out there. But, we've tried so many things. The tour has tried so many things to try to infuse life into it, but never this one.
No, you're right.
Well, it's one thing I've always said. Because when you watch golf or you watch tennis or trying to think of any other even individual sports, I mean, obviously the teams you don't. But do you ever see them talk about how much they made that week?
No, they never talk about money.
And they're making millions.
They don't talk about it. But the sponsors are going to let everybody know how much first place was worth.
They never,
what the purses are.
Well, you can go online and figure it out.
Yeah,
they never talk about money. The announcers never talk about money.
Talk about it.
They never thank. They rarely thank the sponsors. And I'm going to tell you why. Golf is a white collar. What?
It's not the announcer's job to thank the sponsors.
No, I'm saying the players don't thank the sponsors.
Oh, the players.
Rarely do they thank the sponsor at an acceptance speech. I'd like to thank Sony or Mercedes-Benz for allowing me this opportunity to win $1.5 million. They don't talk about that. They never thank the sponsors. It's a white-collar sport, and we used to have this argument all the time. Well, how come the CEO of Walmart sponsors a golf tournament, but he doesn't sponsor a bowling tournament when all their customers are bowlers and none of them are golfers, or a very small percentage is golfers? And it's simple. Guess what? The CEO doesn't bowl. He plays golf. He is a member in a private club. In Walmart's maybe a bad example, but you can use any company out there.
Absolutely.
The bottom line is the people running the companies don't bowl.
Or Budweiser.
They don't bowl.
Same thing.
They play golf.
Right.
And guess what? They don't care about losing $8 million for that 1 week where they sponsor that event because they get to rub elbows with Ricky Fowler.
Speaking of Ricky Fowler, hang on a second.
But think about that tonight, boys and
well,
girls.
when
you go to bed, think about what Johnny Petraglia said in his idea. Throw $100 million for 1 year at the tour. See what happens.
Well, if you remember, 30, 40 years ago, golf, tennis, and bowling were on a par.
But the bowlers actually were making more than the golfers.
Okay. What changed?
Well, there was a lot of things that changed. First being television. So we were on, you got to keep in mind that when we were on ABC, our ratings were in the 10s to 13s.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
That many? Okay.
But there were only 4 channels on television.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And now, those are, so 10 to 13, that's 10 million to 13 million viewers per week. Now if we have a good week, we do a 1.4.
That's when we have a great week.
Yeah. So that's changed. But there's something that hasn't changed, and there's something that won't change, and there's something that's never been picked up on. Sorry, Nick, I stole these from you. Is the fact that 70 million people bowl at least one game a year. That's a big number. And you can't tell me that a guy like Mark Cuban can't figure out a way to tap into all 70 million.
Well, the biggest thing I noticed is just it's sponsorship. You look at the major sponsors of golf, the major sponsors of tennis. You have to. There has to be an equation where the companies that make their money off of, as a generality, blue collar working class Americans. Okay.
Right.
Why aren't they going after those companies?
Well, they've tried. We've tried.
But if
they don't want to be associated with bowling. They want to be associated with golf. They don't care that their customer base are bowlers. That bowl league, they don't care. They're not looking at that deal going, well, you know, this would be a good deal for us because all of our shoppers are bowlers. They don't look at it that way. They look at it as, you know what? I'm still going to make all the money I'm making, but I like golf. And I want to play in a pro-am with Tiger Woods. Now, getting back to the dynamics, I call it the Johnny Petraglia dynamics. Getting back to those dynamics, once Wes has had 3 or 4 years under his belt of this format, and Wes has banked $15 million in 4 years, now what? Well, the CEO wants to rub elbows with Wes Milad now.
Yeah.
You think? Here's another one. You know how accessible our players are to the fans? The most accessible professionals anywhere.
I've said that since day one.
Guess what happens when you put that $100 million out there? No longer are they accessible.
Not at all.
Now to get an autograph, if you're lucky enough to get an autograph, it's going to be like doing the same thing on the PGA Tour. So the accessible. I've seen people walk down in the settee area to get Walter Ray's autograph while he's bowling qualifying.
Oh, I had one. We were at a tournament, and it was one of the worker of the center. I mean, this guy had some disabilities or whatnot, but either worked for him or he was one of the volunteers. I'm getting ready to start one of my games, and he walks right up to me, can I have your autograph? And I'm standing up by the ball return, getting ready to pick my ball up, and he comes up and asks me for one.
Yeah. So now, again, the Johnny Petraglia theory. Now instead of asking for the fee that centers have to pay the PBA Tour to host an event, we pay you. Out of that money, we're paying you that week that you're losing.
Right.
We are paying you so that you can staff it properly.
Yep.
And we are paying you, and when I say staff, that means security, that means police, that means parking, that means everything.
Right.
And you keep the gate, that's all yours. And so this costs you nothing, and we have a model to show you that for that week you can make $100,000. How many do you think are going to be lined up to host an event?
People would be building bowling centers a little differently than they are right now.
That's number one.
It would be more like this.
It
has
to be like this.
Think about it as these centers that really haven't put any capital into their business in quite some time now are gone. I want these guys in my bowling center. So they're gonna go now get the money to upgrade their facilities that you want to go there.
Right.
And again, it's that positiveness, that rolling snowball that just keeps happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's the thing that used to upset me. I would almost go to a proprietor and say, either upgrade or sell it and get out. Okay? Because they're not doing what I think it is worth.
Right. No, I'm with you. Mark Cuban, if you're listening, throw it out there, babe. I got to tell you, Johnny told me this like back in, I want to say it was like June or July.
Okay.
And I can't stop thinking about this.
Oh, you're absolutely correct.
And you know what?
I've said it.
And I'm not. Listen, I don't know. I don't have all the answers. I'm not. And you guys know me. I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed.
No, none of us are.
But I'll tell you what, Johnny Petraglia is, and I thought the idea was brilliant. Now the question is, where do we get $100 million?
Oh.
There's only one place.
Mark Cuban.
That's one.
I'm gonna let you take us.
Or the log cabin in the mountains of Colorado.
Why not?
That was only $2 million.
Why not? We don't have. Hey, we don't have.
Eaten.
And we don't have drug testing on the PBA Tour yet.
There you go.
I'm gonna let you guys take us home. I got to go find my bowling shoes.
Oh yeah, that's right. You guys got to get ready. All right.
What do you got there? Is that our list?
Yes.
Oh,
See,
we have an
and he
official.
left, so now you got an advantage. All right.
So back to,
That's his pick to click. You know that, Stevie.
well, we get to draw to see who goes first.
Yes.
Obviously that's
That's you.
those are pretty good. He's down here
Yep.
on
Yep.
51 and 2 for Lamar Richardson.
He's pretty good.
I was told this one.
Yeah.
I was told
He's-
that one.
He's erratic though.
What's that? Oh, that's where we're gonna be.
Yeah.
Why is there a pair
one
in the
team
middle?
per pair.
Why
that
is
I don't
53
know.
and 4 off?
Oh, okay. Okay.
Where are the
Yeah.
cameras?
Behind the pillars.
Oh, there we are on the
Yeah.
other side.
So we're going to be using 49, 50, 51, 52, and then 55 through 58 for this
Okay.
next event.
(4-0) Astros top of the 6th. For anybody wanting
And
to
that
know.
yeah, and that excites you how? Because he bleeds blue. He's like Tommy Lasorda. Now, what do you think of a guy that lives outside of San Francisco, but is a Dodger fan? I mean, a lunatic Dodger fan.
Did he grow up in
So
Brooklyn?
why is he worried? Why does he care about that game?
I don't know.
His Dodgers already made it.
I know.
Then why does he care?
Well, because he's strange.
Is he
Getting
scared
back
that-
to your draft. He's up and down.
Okay.
He throws a good ball, but you got him. You got him. He's not bad. And Lamar can surprise you. But again, you don't know what their handicaps are either. And that's going to play a little bit into your.
Well, Lamar's shooting 230 this game.
Well, yeah. Yeah, and clean too if he makes his single pin spare.
6-pin. It's closes. He can close his eyes and make this.
Do they have any bowling centers in Bermuda?
Well, they might.
Then he makes it. All right. That would be pretty cool.
All right, we're gonna leave it up to this shot right here. 9 or more, and he's good.
Oh, it must be giving away more stuff.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's on 4D. Bill's called him 5 times. All right, he got 10 pin, 9.
All right.
All right, he's good.
Okay.
Those are pretty good.
236 clean.
He's a big boy too.
Yeah.
I promise you, we're gonna have the biggest team in the house tonight.
Okay.
That might be how I justify it all. So, Steve, you're out.
There you go. All right, I'm going to let you go, buddy. It was a pleasure talking to you. Thanks for
Always,
coming
Nick.
and spending some time
Hey,
with us.
Thank you for having
now
us
go out
here.
there and get focused and go kick his butt.
We'll do it. Thanks for the guys that are tuning in.
Yes.
We'll
Give
I
him
won't
a-
be here
give him a
tomorrow for
show.
the finals, but
There you go.
hey, enjoy it. And again, thanks for having us, Nick.
Okay.
Take care, buddy.
Wes Malott, ladies and gentlemen. He's going to get out there and get some Peterson action. That's easy. All right, we're winding down our doubles event here, and again, as soon as this has concluded, we're going to let you know that our 4 pros, Randy Peterson, obviously Wes Malott, Liz Johnson, and Leanne Holzenberg, they're going to be doing a draft amongst these top 12 ABT qualifiers, and they're going to pick 3 bowlers. And so each team of the 4 teams will have a team captain, which is the professional, and 3 ABT members, and they're going to bowl 3 games, and the winning team's going to get $1,000 a person. And the overall leader, of course, Steve Villanueva right here from Las Vegas, Samson Ibalier out of Washington, Lazaro Palma from Texas, Will Druk from Utah, Victor Mendoza from Southern California, Tom Fowler from Florida, Gideon Spar from Colorado, Jerry Martinez from the San Francisco Bay Area, and then we have 3 bowlers right after that, all from Southern California, Floyd Toro, John Pfeiffer, and Pops Miguel. And our 12th bowler from Bermuda, Lamar Richardson, who just ended up his doubles with a clean 236, which impressed Wes. So again, it is a draft format, so his pick might be gone by the time it gets to him, and it's all going to depend. They're going to do a draw to see who starts the draft proceedings, so there won't be any favoritism, but that'll be the 12 ABT members that'll be bowling with our 4 pros, and you're going to see that here in approximately, I would say, 40 minutes. They're going to do the draft first, and we'll show you that, and they'll also have placards that they'll be holding showing how much handicap they get per game, which could have an impact on the player's decision on who they want. And then once they do that, they're going to give them about 15 minutes to a half hour to kind of see how their game is, where they want to place them amongst the team, like who do they want to lead off, who do they want to anchor, so on and so forth. Once that's done, then you're going to see these 4 teams bowl 3 games, and we're going to bring that to you. I'd say probably, Scott, maybe by 8:30 Vegas time, I think we'll actually see the action begin.
Well, what my plan was to just go ahead and go live for the event when they do the draft, and then kind of do a fly-on-the-wall approach for their coaching session.
Okay.
You know, probably not so much commentary, but just kind of sit back and let them observe the coaching process, and then at that point we'll come back in with commentary as they settle in and get started.
That'd be cool. I think that's the way to go.
Are we going to be able to find your sidekick by then?
Who knows?
Last time I saw him, he and Michelle were headed out to the casino floor for food.
Oh, for food.
But this was a couple hours ago.
I got a shot.
A couple hours ago. This is when I went to get my sweatshirt. We rode down the escalator together.
Okay, all right.
And
I know that a lot of people, it's a shame. A lot of our viewers want to watch Nolan bowl.
Yeah.
When can we see Nolan bowl? And
actually, what they want to watch is you and Nolan bowl.
Well, I don't know about that.
I've had numerous requests for when can we get to see.
Oh, Lord. And here's the funny part. We could charge admission, and we probably won't get 20 cents between us. But it would be fun. We could do that maybe after a singles event one afternoon in a place where we don't have a time constraint.
Just have a Nick and Nolan
we could.
pot game or something?
Yeah, we could do a one-gamer and see what's going on. I mean, we could pull that off. That'd be fun.
Let me know, and I'll set up the cameras, and I'll find commentary.
Oh, boy.
And then we'll also mic the two of you.
Oh, Lord.
Because I've got wireless mics that.
And there's going to be some trash talk. I can tell you that right now.
That actually could be a whole fun late night series.
Oh, Lord. Oh, God.
We start up at like 10 or 11 at night.
Oh, my God.
And do a 3-game trash bowl or something. I don't know.
That would be pretty neat.
Have like 3 featured games or something. Like kind of like a boxing match. Where you have like the preliminary rounds and then the main event, and then so come out and watch. I don't know, Gideon beat up on Little Panda, or I don't know. And I'm only picking these names because I can see these individuals.
Right. That would actually be pretty cool. That'd be fun.
Of course, we'd have to actually, if we're going to do it, what we got to do is kidnap Zach Enders.
Yeah. Oh, God. Yeah.
So then that way we can stay in Highland overnight or something.
Yeah. It would be fun. It actually would be fun.
And Zach, if you're watching, if you let us in, we'll do it.
I'll tell you another one that might do it is Rob Warner at Cold Creek.
Yeah.
I think he would be interested.
We might even be able to talk Derek into it.
Yeah. Could be a lot of fun.
Depends if Derek's going to bowl or not.
Yeah.
We might have to just have the owners round. Rob versus Derek.
Oh my goodness. That would be fun. It really would. Well, we're going to have to put some thought into that.
Yeah. Yeah. You know,
and you might get me out of semi-retirement, which would be fun.
Competitive bowling knife fights. But, you know, you've seen the monkey knife fight concept? Well, our monkeys carry bowling balls.
Oh, good. That would be fun, honestly. All right, we're going to step aside. The doubles is just about concluded. And I figure in about an hour,
yeah,
we're going to come back to you. And we'll hopefully have the doubles results. We'll send them on to you if you have some family or friends that are out here participating, and we'll give you the lowdown on that payout. And then we'll take you right to the draft.